This week's news from the tubes on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by Malwarebytes. Whether you use a PC, a Mac, or a mobile device, Malwarebytes Premium is the company's strongest protection ever. It fights threats that traditional antivirus software can't stop, plus it actively blocks threats like worms, rogues, dialers, trojans, spyware, and a whole lot more. It allows you to use your computer and mobile devices with confidence and peace of mind. To learn more and to get a special price, you can go to f5live.tv/malwarebytes. Speaking of confidence and peace of mind, that was shattered a little bit this week when the CMG Local Solutions I've been saying services all week. Solutions. Posted a blog post basically claiming that they have access to all of the microphones that surround you. Actively listen. They use the words actively listen to your conversations and use that to build an advertising profile. Obviously, there was a negative reaction to this, as one would expect. Was it the Associated Press or Ars Technica reached out to them and were like, hey, so can you explain this? And they went, hold on a second. Took down all the websites that were associated with it. The landing page is gone. The blog post that created all the trouble was gone. Of course, the internet is forever, so we have links to the Wayback Machine for both of them. And they responded by going, no, we're not actively listening. We get data from the providers, and then we work off of that. And ours was like, well, of course you do. For so many reasons. We were not calling you out for actively listening. We were calling you out for clearly lying about what your technology does. So that was ours response. So here's the thing. Could they be actively listening and sending data? Yes. There are examples of it. Amazon says that Madam A only listens when one of the, 7 wake words are said, then starts listening and recording conversations. But a recording from an Echo speaker where her name was never said was used in a murder trial. So, there's some trouble. Of course, the idea of actively listening is a little bit, like all the time actively listening, is a little far-fetched because of the bandwidth requirement that Cox would need on their side, and the processing power that the actual devices would need because they don't have the Meteor Lake, is that what it is? Chips in them?
Right.
I figured I'd just tie it back to the pilch point. But yeah, obviously we know that Amazon is holding more information than they say. But that's not CMG, the Cox Media Group. That's not CMG actively listening.
I think the question is, did they let the cat out of the bag? Like, they're an ad provider. Maybe they said no pun intended, maybe they said the quiet part out loud, right? Maybe they betrayed a secret that is well known in the advertising business or whatever, which is that I don't think CMG, where would they even have the tech on your phone? But this is probably, if this were happening, it would be happening at the OS level, most likely, not at an individual app level or at a website level or something like that. So
they would have to be getting active data from Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Samsung, TCL, any of the TVs that have mics built in, Apple, Facebook. Now, of course,
what if they had it from only a few? Right. Isn't that bad enough?
They could certainly They could certainly aggregate from a smaller group. And if you were able to get it from a couple of key locations, you'd have a ton of data.
Right.
Right? We know.
Right.
So the conspiracy theory has always been out there, because apparently that's the theme of tonight. The conspiracy theory has been out there for a long time, that if you have your phone near you and you say out loud, I'm really considering buying a purple hoodie, within the next 24 hours, Facebook and Google are going to show you a lot of ads for purple hoodies. And I'm using that as an example because I used that in the past because I would never want a purple hoodie. It's just not me. And so I specifically said that it was something that I wanted because it's low impact and out of my advertising profile. And within 24 hours, I was seeing ads on Facebook and Google for purple hoodies. Now,
right.
I don't really use Google services except on our own website as one of the advertising providers. And I was seeing ads for purple hoodies on our website. And I don't have Google stuff.
So don't you think that, I mean, it's really scary to think, and I would hope that with all of the like cybersecurity people out there who are trying to catch things, that they would catch this, that they would find out, like monitor what your phone is sending and somehow see this.
Monitor what's on the backside of your router when you're on Wi-Fi. See what your speakers are pinging back to Amazon and Google. See when your phone is pinging to Facebook, Google, Amazon, whoever.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think that like this company itself is a technology company. I think that what they're saying is they have relationships with companies that do gather this data. Right. But does it matter who it is that's gathering the data? Like, well, I mean, it matters. What I'm saying is the real problem is if anyone is doing it.
Right.
I would really like to see some. I remember seeing an article a few years ago saying, "Oh, you would be surprised that they're not really listening to you. It's just so easy to get this kind of information from your social circle and things like that." But you're right. Like, what's the purple hoodie stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Those kinds of things are fun. And one of the parents from Team Duct Tape and I had done some work together, and we had lunch and we were having this conversation. So we tested it. We each tested with different devices and different, what we could get to happen. And yeah, I mean, with an iPhone and Facebook, getting ads for the things I said out loud was really easy.
So is it possible, now I'm not saying that this makes it okay, that you said correctly so, that if they were going to take all the audio that you say and send it off the device, that's a lot of bandwidth. Mm-hmm. But what if what it's actually doing is it's happening on the device and it's sort of saying like, okay, they mentioned something that sounds like a product and it's doing text to speech or speech to text on the device and then sending, which is not that difficult, right? I mean, we have local text to speech on most mobile devices now, right? So what if it's taking what you say, transcribing it, and sending the text? The text isn't much. It doesn't have to send the whole audio. It doesn't have to send the actual audio.
So here's a little bit from the Ars article. This is based on the old website that they took down. The website previously pointed to CMG uploading past client data into its platform to make buyer personas. Then, the company would identify relevant keywords for the type of person a CMG customer would want to target. Active listening begins and is analyzed via AI to detect pertinent conversations via smartphones, smart TVs, and other devices. So they're basically saying that that's what they're doing.
Right.
That it's listening for pertinent data,
So,
clipping that, and only holding that. And possibly, and somewhere in here, I don't remember, in the reply, the company added that it does not, quote, listen to any conversations or have access to anything beyond a third-party, aggregated, anonymized, and fully encrypted data set that can be used for ad placement. And somewhere they mentioned that it's text only, that they don't actually get the audio. So, yeah, it sounds like, let's say, Facebook is always listening, or Apple is always listening, transcribing when it thinks something is interesting, and pulling the text away and letting the audio die at the device level. I mean, that would not be surprising to me at all. And that would alleviate the issues of bandwidth and processing power to pull it to text locally and then just push text up, because text is nothing compared to audio. And it's kind of what they're admitting to here. So the whole thing is fascinating, and it makes me want to do these tests more scientifically, because obviously what I did was non-scientific.
yeah.
I just said it a couple of times over a 6-hour time period and then waited till the next day and started seeing ads. But like, if I could do control stuff, it would be fun. I kind of want to now. Maybe I'll play around with that a little bit during our downtime.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway, it's really interesting. CMG obviously is not a small organization. It's the Cox Media Group. It's one of the largest media companies in the country. So they would have resources. They are related somehow to Charter/Spectrum, because Cox Cable was purchased by Charter. I don't know if the rest of CMG was. This is one of those companies like Viacom that every time you blink, its ownership structure has changed. But, it's not a small company. Large media group. If they might still own radio stations and all kinds of stuff. So they have resources. They would be able to purchase this kind of data, but it means that this kind of data is out there, and that makes me unhappy. So
Yes,
that's the thing. They have woken us up that the conspiracy theory could be real.
Yep.
There's a political commentator out there that likes to say the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is 6 months. In this case, it's been a little bit longer than that, but not by much. My guess is we're going to see security researchers do stuff on this now. There's a couple who have said that they're on it. We'll see what happens. If they can prove that this stuff is happening and that it's against the policies of the companies, which could be the case, we will definitely hear about it in probably pretty short order. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.